Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I wanted to talk about a movie I just finished on Tubi TV. This recently got a Blu-ray release, and I had seen a couple pictures pop up on Facebook. It's called Scared to Death from 1980, and it looks like it was directed by William Malone, and it stars John Stinson and Diana Davidson. This was a film that my buddy Chris Kim had purchased, and he said he thought it should have been a little more sleazy and have some more horror elements, and I completely agree with him. We do diverge sometimes on our opinions of things, but this one could have definitely used a little more muck. As I said, it's a 1980 film. It says on IMDb it was filmed in, I think it was 79. It definitely has more of a 70s feeling than an 80s feeling. Screw you, Chris. And the main point of the story is there's this ex cop who is a detective who gets wrapped into finding the murderer of all these victims. And as the story starts to unfold, you realize that the victims are being murdered in a strange way, which doesn't come out initially, and that there's this sort of biogenetic monster living in the sewer system. I don't want to say too much. And it's killing these people. And the ex cop, who's now a detective, gets pulled back in on this case and is now going around with this other woman to try and find this monster. It sort of feels a little bit like Split Second with Rutger Hauer, but not nearly as fun or good. Not apocalyptic, not sleazy or have that pulpy noir thing going on. It's not like that, but it definitely has like this detective story. It starts out, and then it sort of starts morphing, no pun intended, into a sci-fi horror story, maybe halfway through. So it's kind of an interesting feeling, but most of the movie feels sort of flat and sort of just like a detective story. And then as it starts to kind of come to the surface that there's this monster, it gets more interesting, and the characters are trying to figure out what the hell's going on, etc. So it does get better, but it doesn't necessarily reach any high highs. Had there been some more maybe gratuitous nudity, or maybe the monster killing people or popping their heads off or something, um, the Suckling comes to mind with a monster in the sewers, maybe it would have been a little different and kind of more interesting. I can't fully recommend it because it just sort of keeps that normal path throughout the film. Kind of goes up a little bit with the monster and then just gets sort of dull again. It was an okay film. It's not one I would ever buy, but it's one that I thought was kind of interesting. It held my attention and it was mediocre. Um, but the weird part of the film is the main guy, I guess John Stinson, who is the ex cop detective, looks a lot like, I'm going to try and get the name correctly, Todd Howard, is it? Who I think he is the director or CEO of EA. He has sort of like a thin, narrow face and a long nose, and kind of, I think Todd Howard might have straighter hair, but this guy has sort of curly hair. Could totally be his relative. Looks very similar to Todd Howard. So that struck me as funny when I turned the movie on. But overall, it was an okay movie. I have that sort of 70s, late 70s, early 80s vibe to it. Just not very fun, you know? Just very run of the mill. So it was okay. I appreciate the recommendation, sort of, or non recommendation from my friend Chris. And it's an okay watch. If you're, flicking through things on Tubi, you could definitely see worse, but nothing I would really recommend. Let me know, guys, if you've seen 1980s Scared to Death and what you thought of it. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.